I was wondering how many siblings your father had. How many children were in his family? You mentioned yesterday, but I didn't quite remember. I think it was. I didn't remember how many children, brothers and sisters, your father had.
My father, he had one brother, only one brother, but he was in America. He came back from America. I was already quite a young man when he came back. And he had the same name as I. His name was Yitzchak.
Yitzchak.
Yes. Then my father had two sisters, all born here in Jerusalem, all of them. We were all born in Bate Ungarn, because at that time our forefathers came from Czechoslovakia, which was Hungary. And so they settled in Bate Ungarn, and that's where we were all born. I went to Cheder every day in Mea Shearim, just across the road.
What was the name of the Cheder that you went to?
Oh, it was a big Talmud Torah. That was called the Talmud Torah of Mea Shearim. Very famous Talmud Torah. A big, and there were so many children, there were so many different classes.
Only boys, obviously.
Yes, naturally. Naturally. Girls didn't go to school.
What were the names of your father's sisters?
One was called Leah, and the other one was called Hannah.
Hannah and Leah.
Yes. My life was very peaceful, very quiet, although from time to time there were Arabs that were rioting, and they were very wild. They were killing and maiming. And I remember as a child, little children, we knew about it, and when we heard, we all crawled under a bed to hide. We were afraid of the Arabs.
Did the parents tell you to crawl under the beds?
What?
Did your parents tell you to crawl under the beds?
No, we ourselves. We ourselves, because we knew about these riots, and riots by the Arabs, and we were terrified. So we hid under the bed. This I'll never forget.
Could you hear the riots taking place? Could you hear a noise, or you just heard there was a riot and you ran away?
We didn't hear them because in those days they didn't have guns. They came with knives, and there were many casualties that they killed.
Were there people from your neighbors in Bate Ungarn who were injured or killed?
No, as it happens in Bate Ungarn, not. But people who lived further out, the furthest that we were allowed to go was Schneller. That was the furthest. I remember on Tu B'Shvat every year, the Talmud Torah, the whole Talmud Torah of Mea Shearim. There were many, many children, many classes there. All of us marched out and we went as far as Schneller. And the Rebbe says, no further, it's dangerous. We have no right to go any further. And there, the Rebbe went and he bought somewhere a bag of oranges. And he made us all sit down, and each one of us got an orange. That was on Tu B'Shvat.
Schneller was not what it is today. What was there at Schneller in those days?
Schneller was a monastery.
Ah.
Yes. And
And it was called Schneller?
it was called Schneller. It was established by someone whose name was Schneller. And the Rebbe says, not further, no one must go any further, it's dangerous, we have no right to go any further. That was Jerusalem of those days. But life was very meaningful, very rich in contents. We all learned constantly from childhood until we grew up, start learning Gemara, and we went higher and higher. In Mea Sharim was a very big Talmud Torah. The largest Talmud Torah in Jerusalem was in Mea Sharim.
How many children were in a class?
In the Talmud Torah,
In your Kita, how many children were there? What did you estimate?
at least 30.
And what, with one teacher, with one,
A Rebbe,
did you have the same
Because-
Rebbe all day long for
all day
everything?
long. Every class had a Rebbe.
So who was your Rebbe?
Well, I went from one to another. I started off from the lowest class and went every year higher and higher.
Do you
And there
remember the
were-
names of any of your Rebbes?
I think that the youngest one was called Rebel, and he was a very fine, a very peaceful. He loved the children, and we loved him. But then there was a certain Rebbe. His name was Reb Motel, and we were all terrified of him
Why?
because Reb Motel was very, very strict. We had to sit and learn, we had to pay attention, and he even noticed any one of us not following in the Gemara, he would
What did he do?
Shout.
What did he do if you misbehaved?
oh, there were all sorts of punishments.
Like?
And the biggest punishment was when he said, I'll get in touch with you, Father, and then I'll tell you that you are not paying attention. So he said, all right, Rebbe, I will pay attention. Please don't speak to him. We were all terrified of him.
And what were the lesser punishments?
It was, they used to have what they call a kanchik. A kanchik to hit the children, those that don't want to learn or that make a noise, just to establish discipline.
What was a kanchik? What was it? A stick?
It was a stick with strings, and he used to hit. He used to say, if you won't pay attention, you see this kanchik? Don't you dare.
Did you
And we
did you
were all
ever get
terrified.
Did you ever get the kanchik?
I don't remember, like everyone else,
Uh-huh.
maybe occasionally, but we were all terrified. We had to sit and learn. At the age of 10, we started learning Gemara. And as we go older, we went further and deeper. And you know, children didn't interest us. The Gemara is very difficult, but we had to pay attention.
What was the method of learning? Was it very repetitive? Did you have to sit, like I've seen in some chadarim even today, where the children have to sit and repeat again and again and again?
There were different types of teachers, what we call them rebbes, a rebbe. Some were very strict, and they had they had a view of the whole class, and if they saw someone was sitting and this wouldn't pay attention, or he was, goodness knows what, playing with something. God help me. They were very strict. We had to sit and learn, and we had to pass examinations.
How often did you have tests and examinations?
Say once a month.
Huh?
Or the Rebbe says, I'm going to speak to your father, and he will give you punishment. We were all terrified. And we learned, we sit and we learned. We had, at the age of 9, we already started learning Gemara.
Do you remember what was the first Gemara you learned?
Yes. Elu Metzias. I remember like now, Elu Metzias Shalom, I was a youngster of how old was I? And I thought to myself, what difference does it make which Metzias, what Metzias? If I find a Metzia, I'll put it in my pocket. What do I need to know what the Gemara is discussing?